I've always been interested in Islam. Like most people, I just assume that it's like Christianity. For the past year, I've been digging into this religion, not out of curiosity, but because I needed to understand one thing. Why, in this modern world, are we still seeing violence justified by faith? That's enough about me. There's a lot of confusion and a lot of noise when it comes to Islam. Muslims often describe Islam as a religion of peace. They'll tell you their prophet brought a message of submission to God.
Islam is the religion that taught the world the true meaning of peace.
They'll point to shared roots with Christianity and Judaism. On the surface, it sounds like a unifying idea that Jews and Christians and Muslims are all following the same God. But dig a little deeper, you'll find a far more complex reality, one that is often hidden from outsiders, and sometimes even from Muslims themselves. To understand Islam, you have to start with a fundamental distinction. Islam does not see itself as merely a religion in the way Christianity or Judaism might. Instead, it is a deen, a comprehensive way of life.
Deen is a way of life. Deen is a state of mind. Deen is everything I am doing in my day-to-day actions. It's not just about my connection with Allah and that's it. No, it's also my connection with you, Abdullah, my connection with you, Ustaz Anas. It's my connection with everyone around me. So it's fundamentally a way of life. Deen is different to religion. And so when Allah Ta'ala says, Inna ad-deena 'inda Allah al-Islam, Islam is a way. It's not a religion.
So, what does it actually mean when Islam is described as a deen? Put simply, Islam is a religion based on laws, not morality. Where other faiths might ask whether something is right or wrong, Islam asks whether it is legal or illegal. This distinction matters because it frames how Muslims are expected to live their lives, not guided by individual conscience, but by adherence to a fixed set of rules. And at the heart of this system is Sharia, a legal and moral framework designed to govern every aspect of existence. So in Islam, there is no separation between religion and state. The two are one and the same. Sharia is the bridge that binds them. Only qualified Islamic scholars, known as mujtahids, are permitted to interpret and apply these laws. This isn't a suggestion, it's a mandate. The mujtahids hold the sole authority to determine what is lawful and unlawful, effectively concentrating both spiritual and temporal power in their hands. Isn't that convenient? This fusion of religion and state is most clearly embodied in the concept of the caliphate, the Islamic State, where the ruler is not just a political leader, but also the guardian of Sharia. The caliphate isn't just a relic of history. It represents the universal mission of Islam to establish Sharia as a governing system for all of humanity. Islamic society is structured as a hierarchy with authority concentrated in the hands of an elite class of scholars called ulama. This structure has its roots in the distinction between learned and the lay, a divide that remains central to Islamic governance and jurisprudence today. Islamic scholars occupy the highest tier of authority in religious and legal matters. They are regarded as the guardians, the interpreters of Sharia law. Islam, at its core, is a gnostic religion. For the ordinary Muslim, there is no expectation, nor is it encouraged to delve into these complex interpretations of the Quran or Sharia. Their role is defined: adherence. The tenets of Sharia are presented as absolute dictates, and the expectation is unquestioning obedience. This structure inherently reinforces the authority of Islamic scholars, who are positioned as the sole custodians of divine knowledge, a role that grants them immense power over the Muslim community. Their authority is derived from their mastery of Islamic jurisprudence, something that they call fiqh, and their ability to navigate the Quran, Hadith, and other foundational texts. Scholars issue legal rulings called fatwas. They interpret divine law and provide guidance on each and every aspect of life. Their decisions are binding for lay Muslims, who are expected to follow their rules without question. Islam's hierarchical framework is not a coincidence, it is by design. From the foundational role of Muhammad as both prophet and lawgiver to the central authority of scholars as interpreters of Sharia, the system is structured to concentrate power at the top, and the average Muslim is not encouraged to question but obey. The result is a society governed from above, where legal, spiritual, and political authority merge into a single, indivisible entity. Islam's aspiration to regulate every aspect of life, spiritual, political, and social, sets it apart from other religious systems. It is not merely a faith, it is a comprehensive system of governance, and at its heart lies Sharia, a framework that seeks to control not only the individual believer, but the entire structure of human civilization. Within the Islamic legal tradition, the opinions of those without recognized credentials are considered irrelevant. Only the consensus reached by qualified scholars carries legal authority, and once established, this consensus becomes binding on the entire Muslim community. By restricting interpretive authority to a defined group of scholars, a framework is created where obedience is paramount and independent inquiry is often discouraged. The result is a system that prioritizes the preservation of its structure over the individual autonomy of its adherents. Muhammad is the cornerstone of Islamic theology and practice. As the final prophet, he is not only revered by Muslims, but also regarded as the ultimate model for every aspect of life. True belief in Islam demands an all-encompassing devotion to Muhammad, one that surpasses love for one's own family, possession, and even oneself. And this devotion is not merely emotional, it is expressed through absolute obedience to his teachings and the implementation of Sharia law. Muhammad's life and actions, ranging from his military campaign to his personal relationships, serve as a binding precedent for Muslims. His example shapes the legal, political, and social frameworks of Islamic societies to this day. He is seen as the embodiment of perfection, and Muslims are thought to emulate him in all matters, both public and private. Muhammad proclaimed his superiority over all other prophets, claiming unique privileges granted to him by Allah. According to Islamic texts, he was given succinctness of speech, victory through fear, and the right to wage war for the expansion of Islam. He declared that the entire earth had been made a purified place of worship for him. These assertions elevate Muhammad's authority to a level that extends far beyond spiritual leadership. The Quran asserts that Islam is the same deen revealed to earlier prophets, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, but with a key difference. Islam claims to be the final and complete revelation, the ultimate, set in stone expression of this divine way of life. Islam's self-definition as a deen means it seeks to govern every facet of human existence, from the deeply personal to the broadly political. It's not just about spirituality or morality. It's about law, governance, and control. This is where Islam stands apart from other so-called Abrahamic faiths. Christianity, for instance, is primarily concerned with moral and spiritual guidance, what you might call a framework for personal salvation. Islam, on the other hand, is a legal political system at its core, one that seeks to regulate every aspect of life. This distinction is critical because it explains why Sharia, Islam's system of divine law, is not just a set of religious guidelines. It's a complete takeover. Religion, law, politics, all choked by the same fist. I poured so much time and effort into researching and creating this video, and it truly means the world to me. Your support would mean everything. Please consider subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. I'm already planning a follow-up to this video, so feel free to share any questions or ideas you'd love for me to explore. Thank you so much for being here.